this working? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. We're here today to honor the indigenous people of the Rio Grande Valley. We're fortunate to have presentations and discussions by members of the Carrizo Comecrudo tribe of Texas and the Lipan Apache Band of Texas. However, we are also here to honor the indigenous people everywhere, including our indigenous ancestors south of present-day border. We are also proud to feature speakers with native roots in Mexico, such as Dr. Feria, who I will introduce in just a minute. And I am reminded of Gloria Anzaldua's quote from Borderlands La Frontera that says, quote, "This land was Mexican once, was Indian always, and is, and will be again." More and more cities across the US are celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day. And in fact, according to Newsweek, a recent College Pulse study says that 79% of college students in the US support replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. So as we celebrate, we invite you to join our discussions throughout the day. We have a calendar of events on the tables. And so you'll see that after Dr. Feria's presentation today, we'll have a member of the Carrizo Comecrudo tribe speaking. We'll have a panel on decolonizing the RGV at 12:15. At noon, we'll have tamales, and so you can come back and have lunch and listen to the panel discussion. And then at 2 p.m., we will be featuring the co-directed film by Dr. Rosalba Resendiz called El Muro, the Wall. And we will also have the person that is in the film, which is Dr. Eloisa Tamez, who's a member of the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, and she will be here to discuss that film. They built the border wall in her backyard. And so they made this documentary to document how she resisted that process. And so we hope that you could come back today to listen to these important talks. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker today. Dr. Teresa Patricia Feria is a native of Mexico of Totonaca and Mixteca ancestry. Her plática is called My Indigenous Heroine, Roots of My Culturally Relevant Pedagogy. Dr. Feria earned her BS in biology with honors and an MS in animal biology from the National Autonomous University of Mexico. She completed a doctoral degree in biology at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and subsequently finished 2 postdoctoral appointments afterwards. She focuses her research on global, excuse me, lost it. It's on Facebook, and so I clicked the wrong thing, sorry about that. She focuses her research on global change ecology, and her lines of research are related to endangered, invasive, and vector-borne disease species. She served as a mentor for high school, undergraduate, master's, and PhD students. She has received the Provost International Studies Award, Excellence in Teaching Award from the College of Science and Mathematics, the Outstanding International Faculty Female at UTRGV, an Excellence Award in Community Engagement from her college, the Excellence Award in Community Engaged Scholarship from the university, and she was selected as Fred W. and Francis H. Rustenberg Endowed Professor. She served as the chair of the Women's Faculty Network during the academic year of 2018-2019. So thank you so much for advocating for us women. In fall of 2019, she was selected as an international fellow from the Division of Research, Graduate Studies, and New Programs. And she is a member of the National Researcher System in Mexico. Please help me welcome Dr. Feria.
Thank you, Amy. Can you hear me well? Yeah, thank you very much. So the idea to have this microphone here is to don't have that so I can move my hands, but I need to hold this device in one and this other in the other hand. So I'm gonna be doing magic with all this. Well, thank you very much for introduction. Let me tell you something. And one of the most important things, this talk, probably among all other talks that I have given in my career, has been one of the most important. So I'm putting my heart in this talk because I'm telling you as an indigenous person with indigenous blood, I feel so proud to be here. So when they told me, would you come to talk? Are you busy? No, I'm not busy to share with you my indigenous roots. The reason why I'm here, and I hope that with this, you also get some of that information from your parents, grandparents, aunts, any relative that helped you to discover. If you already did, it's even better. Those indigenous roots, what makes us so proud. So I'm gonna start now, and thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody in the Mexican American Studies for this invitation. So let's see. Okay, I want to tell you where I was born, and I was born in this place, in the center of Mexico. It's like 13 hours from here, driving. So 1 hour and 20 minutes if you fly. It's a short flight, Reynosa, Mexico City, and then from there 45 minutes, and you're in my home. I was born in a town called Nezahualcóyotl. Have you heard about Nezahualcóyotl? The Nahuatl prince, but I don't know how to speak Nahuatl. I don't, unfortunately, but I was born in that town. The story about a lot of people that come close to the city is that they came from every part in Mexico, trying to find that or fight for that dream to do something better with their lives. Leave the land in their towns and move to the city will give them opportunities that they didn't have, like better studies, better jobs. Have you heard that? Is familiar? Something like that, right? It happened in the country. So my mom is from Veracruz. Veracruz is a state in Mexico that is characteristics for the big heads, the Toltecas. Those are some, and the culture. I'm not gonna go too much in depth in the culture, and I'm sorry, in this specific historical data, but I would love to talk to you if you're interested. The vegetation, this is tropical rainforest. It's raining most of the time, has a lot of vegetation, humidity. We are in the Gulf of Mexico, so it's kind of here but there, right? We are kind of subtropical, tropical, and that is very tropical. Lots of birds, lots of animals. So imagine when I was a kid and I was traveling to this place, coming from the city that was cold, cooler, but in this place, hot, the diversity, the animals, the plants. So that is important for me because in addition to the food, right? And I selected here what we call the picaditas and other places called sopes, because when I talk to my kids and I said, this is culture, and my kid says, yeah, what a burgers, IHOP. And yes, that is part of the culture, right? The food, what you feel like you belong to is part of your culture. So I selected that specifically. And the reason why I selected animals and plants is because I'm a biologist. And having these trips helped me a lot to find the love and the passion for life. And specifically wildlife is why I studied biology. And I'm gonna keep talking about that. And of course, the class and the dance, right? Regional dance in Veracruz. And I will always happy to participate in this kind of things. Well, let me tell you, I love that so much that people from other professors or teachers from other classrooms, when I was in elementary school, they asked my professor, do you let Patty dance with our students? So I was dancing all the time. I just love it. I just love it. So anyway, so something that you might not know. Hopefully you knew about that. Veracruz, tropical rainforest, birds, plants, food. Something that you don't know, and I hope this is new for you, is that we have a town called Yanga. Yanga is el pueblo o el primer pueblo libre de América. What does that mean? Remember that African people were brought as slaves. And one of the port of entries is Veracruz, the port of Veracruz. So they brought a prince, an African prince called Yanga. And he escaped. And the data is there. All the literature, you can Google it, Yanga, as it is there. So he escaped and went to a place and established a town because he escaped with other slaves. And then other people came here. indigenous people, even Spanish people started to come to that town. There was a battle because the Spanish, they were not happy about having this town there, but they won. When Yanga was already old, several years, took too long to actually declare this as the first free town. So they didn't mess up with them anymore. So there is documents that prove that Yanga, the town where my mom was born, is the first free town in America. So this is something I would like to give you because we have in Mexico the Afro-Mexicans. We have, that is part of our blood. I want to talk about much about it because we don't talk about colors or any, you just talk to people by their names and we never really kind of need to check a box about if you're with ethnicity. We never do that in school or anything like that. We don't have to do that. But this is a very important group. And I have blood of African people too. So this is an important thing I wanted to mention. So since 1631, and you can go and visit. You have one more reason to go and visit Veracruz and Yanga, the town where my mom was born. So that is that town. But now, my dad is from Oaxaca. And it's very different because he's from the Sierra de Oaxaca. The Sierra de Oaxaca, or the Sierra Mixteca, where he was born, is drier. So the vegetation is totally different. And also how people interact with other people. So we have other idols that people might call, right, gods to pray. We have the vegetation with a lot of more xerophytic vegetation, this kind of plants that grow in kind of desertic areas. Of course, we have food that we all love. And here, my love for nopales, and something that I will be addressing later on when we talk about decolonization, because this is about decolonize your diet, something like that. See? And of course, the biodiversity in Oaxaca is tremendous. Oaxaca is the most biodiverse state in terms of the ethnicity, the different kind of groups that we have, but also in terms of life, plants and animals. We have all kind of vegetation. We have tropical rainforests, tropical dry forests, we have deserts. It's amazing. And I think that Mexican American Beach Institute were like having last year in Oaxaca a faculty development program. I don't know where it's gonna be this year, but faculty and students, if you have people that you know they will benefit from trips like this in terms of development, that would be one of the places to visit. And of course, me and my dressings from Oaxaca, because it's how we are born and we are raised. Every year, every time that you have opportunity to dress an indigenous traditional clothes, you do it. But see, I never really am dressing the most luxury clothes that you see, the ones that cost like thousands of dollars when you want to go and buy those. No, we wear the traditional like every other people in town. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. Los rebozos, the clothes that my granny or my mom could make and have for me. So it's how I grew up. Low, very low income family. And the story of Oaxaca. And I had this because I wanted you also to let you know, I know some history. And you know who is this person there? See, say it loud. Benito Juarez. What is one of the main things, important things about Benito Juarez is the first president of Mexico, or the only president of Mexico that is like indigenous blood. Okay, there are a lot of things around the history of this, but I wanted to show you it's Indigenous Day and we had the president. So Benito Juarez was from a different place. My parents, my dad is from La Sierra Mixteca. He is from another place, and it's La Sierra Guelaguetza. Have you heard about the Guelaguetza? And it's why, I don't know how this works actually, but I don't want to, I'm scared. Oh, I did it. So here, La Guelaguetza is one of the most important festivales, parties that we have in Oaxaca. And people from different towns in Oaxaca come and celebrate there. They bring food, they bring the clothes, they bring the traditions from different towns. So this is a huge event in Oaxaca, La Guelaguetza, in July. If you want to go, you have to start booking your hotel and trips now, and it's July. It's a very important event. But the town of my mom, my dad is, this is my dad, it's like a town in La Sierra that is not that wealthy, it's not the city, and people need to live from growing crops or selling food, selling bread. So those are the areas. So I want you then now to remember Veracruz, and I'm gonna go here. Let me see if I have it here. Oh, these are my family. Let me go back then. So I don't know how to go back. But anyway, so let me tell you now. Here. So I have blood of the Toltecas, blood of the Mixtecas. But I'm going to talk to you today about the Mixteca part. I want to do that today, and it's important. You will see why, hopefully. So this is my family. The mom of my mom, the dad of my mom, she's my mom, my dad, and my granny, the mom of my dad. So Rita, Jesús, Teresa, Rogelio, y Margarita. Margarita, isn't that a beautiful name for a granny? Magos, Doña Magos. Doña Magos was not happy with her name. She wanted to be called Petra or Maria. You know why? Maria is a very important name, the mother of Jesus. And Petra is the short for Petronila. Hey, Granny, what are you thinking? Petronila versus Margarita. But Petra is a very famous name at that time too. Everybody wanted to be called Petra or Maria. Why Petra? I still don't know. But those are kind of things that I talk to my granny, and it's actually her story, the one I want to talk today. She's my hero, heroine. One of them, but probably the most important one. So what she did, she was orphaned since she was 8 years old. She had an aunt far away in the tree of the relatives that once in a while was taking care of her. But at that time, kids could die because of the diseases. So she had a sister that died because about disease. And the mom died because she was sad. She could not stand the death of the youngest. And the dad started drinking and died too. So it was just her, 8 years old. She needed to be moving to one place to another, finding food, finding a job to do, anything. But she will be doing to get some food. So she always said, don't get just free money. Don't try to get the easy money. Never. Fight. Work hard. And you will be very happy to have earned that money. And I'm going to keep talking about that because that is my indigenous heroine. Mi héroe, mi heroína. So, professions, carrying the wood, the town, not riding donkeys or anything like that, right? Doing the, have you seen that item before? How do you call it? Any idea? El metate. And with that, they can do, you like tortillas, right? So you know the corn, they have to, this is like, make it like the tea, grounded, right? And then put in some water, some salt, have everything from the base, from the beginning, right? So those things that she did, she sell candy, she sell vegetables, all what was needed to do. And have you seen TV, Facebook, this kind of advertisement when the police comes and try to get rid of what the indigenous people, that is my granny. It's her. It's her fighting with that police guy telling her, don't get my stuff because it's all what I have to bring food to my kids today. It's her. I just get into my topic. So she didn't know how to read or how to write. She didn't know anything like that. But she went to school when she was about 70 years old, 70, and she learned how to write her name. I want to keep talking, a lot of things. So I have several stories, and when I'm close to the time, just stop me because I just want to keep talking and talking about this. And have you heard about La Rosa, El Capulín, or El Catrín? Have you heard about that? See, where is that? La Loteria, right? It seems like every time they talk to us, they have a story, and we are hearing kind of La Loteria. And I'm going to talk about one of these things. It's not in that book of La Loteria. It's about La Piedra. So when my granny decided there is no more things to do in the town, she had 5 kids, one of them died, and that's another story. So she decided to bring her family to the city. And when she was there, she had to work in different places, but she needed to have a house. At that time, they were heard that there is a place called Netzahualcoyot. It's a city that is starting, but nobody wants to live there. Just people that are bad people go to these places, the ones that drove, the ones that don't have education. This is a faraway city, and the dumping areas for trash are very close. Flies, another kind of animals, nobody wants to live there. But guess what? Not having money and having the need to do something, she came and she sat there in a stone, in a piedra, until people that come and divide the land came. And they said that, go early, sit, wait for us. And she was there until somebody came from the government and said, this is gonna be your piece of land. This is gonna be your piece of land. And they, of course, had to pay for that piece of land. But you needed to be there hours, days, but you needed to be there. And that is La Piedra. And what she taught me about that determination. You have to do it. You want it and you can do it. And every one of you can do it. Because we have that determination to do it. You start your career, you start doing what you want. And it's not easy. It's not. But you can do it. It's possible. El refajo. Those are kind of things that go under your skirt, and you have to iron them. And every single line needs to be perfect. Otherwise, you will notice in the skirt that goes in the top. And then you have to use almidón. Almidón is this kind of liquid thing that you put and has to be just perfect. And she was working and she needed to do this for several people. And then she got so tired and she says, I'm not gonna do it for me. Who's gonna notice? And her aunt, in one of those times that she had the opportunity to talk to her aunt, said, you know what, it's for you. You have to do it because it's for you. And then she learned that lesson. And every time I would be saying myself, I'm so tired, I'm just gonna let this go like this. Who cares? Nobody's gonna notice. I'm not gonna get the 100 anyway. Okay, I'm just not gonna do it. She will say, your name is gonna be there. So it has to be perfect. Your name is gonna be there. So you have to lead by example. What you are, what you represent, and show other people that example. And that showed me that. Lead by example. Be the example on yourself and show other people that you can do it. La lagartija. Do you know what is lagartija? The lizard, right? What's the story of the lizard? This is past the time when my uncle was studying. He was the first biologist in the family. He was studying reptiles. And he spent 10 days in the field to try to catch a lizard. Very rare, very difficult to catch. And he came to the city after those 10 days with this big beard. And then we were like, really, uncle, just to catch that lizard, you're risking your life. Well, guess what? The lizard escaped. It's a disaster. He's working in his thesis, all the research, all those days in the field. And he just said, it's okay. And my granny looked at him and says, no, it's not okay. No, 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 we have to find that lizard. And she went all around looking for that lizard. There was a tree two houses away. She saw the lizard. She ran. And have you tried to catch a lizard, guys? Ever? Are they fast? They are fast. My granny, seeing the kid suffering, this is still the kid, it doesn't matter if he's in college, was faster than that lizard and got it. We couldn't believe it. We just couldn't believe it. And she said, is this your lizard? And my uncle, that is my lizard. That was the lizard. So, ay, abuelita, perseverance. You can do it again. Show me one and more time that we can do it. See? So, el plato. Every time we have to eat, who likes to clean the table? Who wants to move your table away? Wash it. Only somebody tells me, please clean. Don't forget to move your table, right? For everything. Well, she says, no, mija. One thing you have to learn is that you gotta do it before anybody tells you. Every place that you will go, you will be appreciated if you take the initiative to do the things. Don't wait that somebody tells you. Don't wait. So I learned very early, I had to, that initiative was gonna be very important for me. And because they have several stories, I'm gonna finish just with this part, El Guatemalteco, because I'm doing the loteria, right? El Guatemalteco, with this we win. What happened is that my granny, being so poor, right, economically talking, but very rich in all her feelings, and one of these very important lections that I learned here is that there was a guy coming from Guatemala. We asked him, where you come from? Guatemala. He was thirsty. He had nothing to eat in days. And he showed up there in the house of my granny, because she has like a big curtain where she was selling their stuff, candy for kids mainly. And he said, would you give me some water, something to eat? And my granny looked at him and said, okay, boy, do you know how to sip? And the boy, sí, no, barrer. Is that sipping? Is how you say it in English? And the boy says, yes, I know. Okay, grab that. I know you are tired, but you are going to earn your food today because I'm going to feed you. But you earn it because she did it, right? She was not going to, but the guy did very fast because nobody had offered the guy an opportunity to work, to show that he could do it. So my granny did it and gave him food. So guess what? The guy stayed there for some days and we were like kind of scared. Granny, what you are doing? And she says, doesn't have a place where to go. He doesn't bother anybody there. He can sleep in that corner. Bring el petate. I have more petates. It's a place where you can sleep, right? Have you seen petates? I don't have it. It's like kind of a carpet made of palm tree. So bring that petate and he's gonna stay there. And boy, you just say what Granny said. And he stayed there. What she showed me, this Guatemalteco has a name, of course. So, but I call him a Guatemalteco. Left, went back to the country, and he came every year, now with shoes, now with clean clothes, to see my granny. Because he saw my granny like a second mother, because she helped him. What she told me was empathy, compassion, inclusion. Not because they look different. We all have times of need, and we all have to help each other, right? This is amazing. I just don't have words to thank my granny, but this is a great opportunity to do it. So it's why I'm so happy to be here, because I want you guys also, and I have paper there that I want you to write down, who is your hero? Your mom, your dad, your uncle, your sister, your brother. Write in that paper, because you're gonna give me that information that I'm gonna collect here. Why these people are your heroes? Why? Why they bring to you that you think they are? Because we find that the way that be more and more bonded to our family. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more. I think I have time to talk a little bit more. Yes, I have plenty of time. and write it down. Who is your hero and why? Why? Because I want this. You don't need to write your name. I'm sorry, there was like a bad noise. My noise? Okay, sorry. So I want you to write, my hero is my brother. My hero is my dad. My hero is my abuelito, my granny. Maybe it's your teacher. Maybe it's that person that helped you understanding something else. Who is your hero and why? And you're gonna share with me because I would love to have that for my own to know about it. And you don't have enough paper, just cut it in half. Write one side and the other. ¿No tienes papel, Giselle? Ah, plugas. Sorry. Right. Who is your hero and why? You're done? Thank you very much. And thanks for sharing. And well, thank you. See, and I'm having in this beautiful bag first. If you haven't finished, it's okay. Don't feel you have to. It's not an exam. Actually, Ernesto, extra points, what about it? They pass with A. Okay. How many passing the back? Just around. So the person's gonna go around the classroom. And can we continue? Okay, so then I'm gonna finish or continue with this part of why now I'm teaching here and why I'm teaching as I do. So because this is the second part that is all linked to the first. So I told you about having the fortune to grow in an indigenous culture with parents that grew up with me, teaching me that, and the dancing and the food, and of course my brothers, all of us representing Emiliano Zapata, Benito Juarez, or other important people, where, and I needed to talk about Emiliano Zapata, right? Because that is another of our indigenous heroes that we have to mention, if possible, every time when it's about defending the land. Of course, there are all other information around that, but something that actually was different here, and this is me again growing, is that when I went to college, I had the opportunity. I always work and study, always, since I was 16 years old. My dad said, you will not be able to have more help as soon, because until you go. As soon as you finish bachelor, I'm sorry, high school, we cannot help you anymore with the school. But I was lucky. In the town, my cousins, my female cousins were heard something like this. They said, it's a waste of time. You are get married, have kids, and we just not need to send you to school. And everybody okay with that, right? But I was in a different place with my dad. They didn't say you don't or should not go to school, but he says, I will not be able to help you anymore. He was giving me 10 pesos at that time. And it was not a lot of money, still very little, but I used to work evenings, mornings, vacations to be able to continue going to school. But here, I had the opportunity for the first time to get a scholarship. There was a guy called El Russo, the Russian, that says, hey, you have a good GPA. You should compete for a scholarship. And I said, me? Might be able to get it? There's a lot of people. I'm not sure. Just do it. And I'm telling you, every one of you, if you have not done it, compete for a scholarship because you are going to be able to get them. Yes. First thing is to go and apply. Most important, right? And apply again and again because you can do it. So I did it. So I learned that doing research, hands-on, active learning, and having a little bit of money extra will help me a lot. Not always the case, right? It's not easy. So this is my picture, the day that I took that airplane to go to the United States and do my PhD because I got the scholarship. The first one was my bachelor's. This I'm already older, right? And I have my dog that I have to leave, and in the background, my house, and low income. Close to, yes, the dumping areas in El Bordo de Xochiaca and Ciudad Nezahualcóyotl, it was not gonna do something that is gonna stop me because my grannies and my granny always supporting, always saying, yes, mija, you can do it. So remember that. So, and I love nature, and I love vegetation, and I love animals and plants and insects. I do love all that. So I studied that in biology, and I had the fortune to have great professors, great mentors. Of course, some that were not that good. When I was doing my master's, I had one that says, hey, females belong to the kitchen. Just don't bother. But that was not going to stop, right? It's not, should not stop anybody. It's painful, and you feel it in your stomach, in your back, and you get the courage again to do things. Another story. But I love, as much as I love nature, I also know there are several things that are disturbing nature, right? If we lost the environmental battle, we lost everything, period. Not teachers, not doctors, no artists will be able to have their professions as they will. Because oxygen, food, medicine, and I'm not talking about pills, I'm talking about the teas. I'm talking about that alternative medicine that is just in the fruit that we eat, in the vegetables. Anyway, so I study, I travel, I got scholarships. I want this for you all. I have to say it. If you haven't done it, do it again. And then had opportunity to present my research, to give talks, to get the first awards as a student, to do my social service, to get my thesis, the honors that I got. It was something that you didn't apply for. They decided at the moment that you defend your thesis whether you will be honored or not, receive the honors or not. And I did. It was a surprise. You will be graduating, you will have your bachelor's with honors. You know that at that time when you are getting defending your thesis. So it's different, but it's very good. So all this experience, my life, my studies, all in general, helped me a lot when I came to UTRGV, and there hasn't been easy. And female faculty that are here with me as male, they know that it's not easy, especially as female, especially as minority, underrepresented. It's not easy, but that's another story, right? We will share that in another time, but it's not easy, but it's not impossible. And it costs, but we are here. We are example people are here. So here I have my service learning classes where my students actually teach kids about the importance of recycling. And that is something that I wanted. And the kids, a lot of times, they know more than my students. I already did this, no? Or I have this other idea, and it's great because we both learn community engagement, service learning, active learning, the name you want to name it. As soon as you are actively, right, interacting in the learning process, you learn a lot, and from the people and yourself, because you are studying to present it. So I forgot to mention that they also learn how to do and write reflections. But this was thanks to my Mexican-American family, because I didn't know about reflections of the importance until 2017. We have this faculty development. I hope you can keep doing, because we have young faculty here and midterm career faculty that would love to do so, and all these rising stars that we have here, right? So I learned the importance of reflections, because we were like reflecting every night. Love it. Learn a lot about myself, thinking about my thinking. That is amazing, isn't it? So I applied that to my students. They shared the ideas. Everybody feel included. How I know that? In the student evaluations, they said, first time I was not afraid to talk. First time I knew everybody in my classroom. First time I'm like, wow, this is amazing, and this is what I want. This is what I want to embrace everybody that is teaching. They go the extra mile. They get the shirts, and they said, I'm in this team, and I'm going to be talking about these recycling projects, and I have Frida Kahlo, and I have other kind of pictures that they like, because I said, in my culture, we do this. We recycle, but I want something that is from each one of your cultures. And yes, we have like 90% of Spanish, but we have other ethnicities also here with us. So we have to include everybody here. So we discuss, we add the ideas of everybody, and we end up with products. And this product, this team calls like the butterfly effect, because they said that small changes can actually have a big impact. They call themselves that, the team. So I let them do and be themselves, and then they show the results, and then I get the awards. So what better thing like that than that, right? So thanks to all of you that do that kind of wonderful thing. So they do, and they are so proud of the projects, the research that they have to show in the service learning. And also, I want to show this, because all these products like are so colorful. I said, who helped you with this? I was talking to my aunt. I talked to my granny. You know what? I never had this conversation in the past with my grandpa, or things like that. And I feel that I'm fulfilling with that. One of the main goals that I have in bringing together all these ideas, all our roots, to put them together. So we go, and we have also community engagement classes. In the community engagement, we go and talk to the leaders of communities. We work in organic gardens, butterfly gardens. We go. The classroom, we go all together. We go outside. We are working in the San Carlos Endowment Center. We work that in the spring and fall. They interact a lot with the students. One more time, the reflections. I like this because I have my classes, bilingual classes. So I teach in English and Spanish. And students that have no English at all, so like Kush, he says, I was able to learn some words. And guess what? I want to be a doctor, and I want to work in the valley. So better for me to learn Spanish. So they also learn the importance of being bilingual. So we present a hashtag, we work with the local communities. We do social media. My students go the extra mile and do the videos about the research projects. And this is very close to happen, right? No, yes, El Día de los Muertos, see? Or Halloween, what is part of the culture. And I have a study abroad classes also where we go to Yucatan. And I like this because this student wrote, the Mayans were people of science, mathematics, and architecture, but here said something very interesting, that the Mayan people feel the need to deny their roots in their experience because what they learned. But then she learned this, and it's like, this experience has inspired me to rediscover my Mexican-American roots and use them to propel myself forward into my studies. And I just think this is amazing. This is what I want. Once we feel proud of our roots, what we do, what we are, then everything is going to be less difficult. I'm not saying easy, but less difficult. So my students became ambassadors. I had Giselle Garza here, and sorry, I had to say it. She went with me. Now she's my grad student, and she has been getting awards. She's first generation female going to a school, and she has been, like several of you, fighting lots of battles, right? She's gonna go to Sagnas in Hawaii because she was selected. I just wanna say, help me to congratulate Giselle. She was an ambassador she's an ambassador for study abroad. So I have another student, Vianney Cantu, also, that is doing amazing things. And I'm going to talk about her research a little bit. We will clap her and everybody later also, but I wanted to mention that research classes. And here is when I want to show. We go to conference. I go with my students. I made them to present for the class for in different conference. And this is the research of DNA. Have you heard about the nopales? It's time for another class? No? Have you heard about nopales? Prickle pear? No? Have you seen how beautiful they look like? See? Well, these guys help us a lot. In Mexico, they are in my flag. Thanks to them, we have like $8 million. We export $30 million. We have honey, we have tortillas. We have the red color that people use in the hair, thanks to the cochinilla that grows in the nopal. Well, the nopal has so many properties, can help prevent diabetes, lower the sugar, have a lot of fiber, lower the cholesterol, the vitamins. It's amazing. And this is Hispanic roots, Mexican roots, and I would like just more Mexican American, if they don't know, to discover them. So they took it because nopales, prickle pear, can grow up to Argentina. They took the nopales, brought them to Australia, and became a place. There, because they're so smart, they got a moth that will help to eliminate the prickle pear. Eats the prickle pear like in minutes, basically, weeks, and prickle pear is gone. So this will represent a horrible situation for my country, because it's moving, and now it's here in Texas, not in the valley yet. And it's what Vianney is doing, is trying to study and survey that the cactus moth doesn't come close. If it comes close, it's a disaster. I just want to imagine the flag of Mexico, what it has in the middle. Un nopal, right? So without the nopal, because this moth is coming, that could be a disaster. But we have more to say about it. So we have networking events. The Halloween, I like to dress like Adelita, because I want to remind everybody the importance of female in the Mexican Revolution. And I have lots of successful stories. I have this student that got accepted in 5 different universities. They didn't want to leave the valley. My family's in the valley. I will not move from here. And I said, guess what? Your family will go where you, in your heart, always, family is with us. So he got accepted in Harvard, Baylor, Massachusetts, I don't know, but he's very liberal. So he preferred to be in San Francisco, and he's now in San Francisco. So I just teach as I teach, because my personal history and also the experience that I have had in general in development professional workshops. And I just want to say thank you to this person, my granny, for love and all what she taught me, because it's why I'm here, and I'm able to share it with now new generations of students. And I'm lucky she was able to meet my 2 kids, and they were able to hear some stories from her. And now I want my kids to meet the grannies, but American and Mexican granny. I'm so lucky to have this diverse family. I'm so lucky that I can go back and share my cultural roots with them. And I'm so lucky they also have their own Mexican-American culture that they are sharing and they're going to be growing with. So they feel proud of that. I said my nopales, and my other daughter said, my nopales too, because the valley has nopales. What are you thinking, Mom? It's not only in the Mexican side, it's here. Well, of course, this was Mexico, it's Mexico, and will be Mexico. No? Of course, my parents, my family, and I think I would like, yes, and I learned how to do tamales. I do all that from scratch. My brothers don't believe, but I swear I do everything from scratch. And of course, all the experience. I wanted to show you that this, my heroine, orphan, got a family as this big. And he has pediatricians, accountants, biologists. I'm the only one that is living far away from the family, and the only one that finished a master, a PhD. the only one. Other cousins are studying bachelor's, and I'm very proud of that. But with that, so she was just amazing. And I want to thank again Amy and the Mexican American Studies to allow me the opportunity to have this celebration for my own hero, mi héroe, mi role model, my grand. So thank you very much. And with this, I end. Yes. Say again? Yes, global change ecology. Are you going to be in my class? Yes. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes.
Do you have any projects that you're running with Mexican tribes or something that you're connected?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I don't work with the tribes or any other group. I work with researchers. So I have a lot of collaborations in Mexico with people in different universities. And I'm glad you asked this question because this goes from everybody in general. But if you know how we can make these connections, like I'm the international fellow, and I'm looking for from different universities to do agreements where faculty or people can come and we can go also to do research or teaching online or just interchange of the students. So every one of you, you know what? Yes, I already have agreements with la Universidad de Tamaulipas, la Universidad Autónoma de Tamaulipas, but it's not the kind of that I'm looking for. It's more like J1 scholars coming, students coming, going. So we are working with people in different universities in Chiapas, in Hidalgo, in Veracruz, in Puebla. But with the ethnical groups, myself directly, no. But if you know professors that can do that, and that you know at university where we can sign agreements, that is me. You call me because I'm the one that is going to be helping with these agreements. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. And I don't know did I answer your question?
Yes, and actually we are in that kind of network. We are creating this network of Oaxaca men that is making a sustainable school and with gardening and everything to give a chance to people to make the milpas again. And we want to bring this to the tribes that are in the valley, the Comecrudo, the certain tribes that are here in the United States. And we want to work to help them to export their products. We have the University of Puebla exporting the products of the crafts and arts that these people do, exporting to France. So we want them to connect with tribes in the United States or ethnias or schools that help these kind of people that are working and that need them to empower themselves, because and we have to help them to know those ways.
And that sounds excellent. And la Universidad Autónoma de Puebla, if that is university, that is a place that I will be helping to get agreements with. So we will facilitate the, at least with the professors, the faculty that kind of visiting and talking more about in person.
It's Puebla, Morelos, Oaxaca. So
even better. Bring me the name of the university and I will get you the agreement. I have that power. Ernesto's laughing. Really. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I know you have class and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have my email, actually. If you want to talk to me later on, I will be happy to.